Hreem Shreem. Namaskar. My name is Vijay Jyotish. Hello and welcome to this series on the secrets of Sanatana Dharma. In episode 1, we unveil the truth behind polytheism in Sanatana Dharma. Today, we will explore the scientific secret behind lighting oil lamps in Sanatana Dharma. There is a tradition or sampradaya in Sanatana Dharma to light oil lamps in our homes and temples, typically in the early morning and early evening hours. Why do we do this? In addition, astrologers like myself also prescribe lighting ghee lamps as a simple, cost-effective, and potent remedy for malefic planetary influences. How can this possibly work? I am sure you've heard of well-articulated reasons in this regard from many gurus like Sadhguru, Sri 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 Ravi Shankar, Swami Sarvapriyananda, and perhaps many others. I am not going to repeat them here. But what you'll hear today is something you have likely never heard before. I will give you the indisputable evidence for the true scientific basis of this practice in Sanatana Dharma. First, I'm going to start with a quick science lesson so you can understand the link between science and lighting oil lamps in Sanatana Dharma. Most, if not nearly all of us, are unaware that there are tiny electrical particles flowing in the air around us. It is here right now as I'm speaking to you, and around you as you watch or perhaps listen to this video. These tiny electrical particles in the air play a very significant role in promoting all life forms on planet Earth. Science knows these electrical charges as ions, and the process of their creation is called ionization. Each molecule of the air around us, when in perfect equilibrium, has a nucleus with positively charged protons and an equal number of negatively charged electrons revolving around the nucleus in one or more orbits. By the way, there are other particles in the atomic structure like neutrons and so on, but these are not really relevant to the discussion today. As such, we will focus on the positively charged protons and the negatively charged electrons. You'd be surprised to learn that these revolving electrons are nearly 1836 times lighter than protons, and as such are easily displaced from their orbits. When one or more electrons are displaced from their orbit, and there are a number of different ways in which this can happen, then the equilibrium in the air molecule is disturbed and a positively charged ion is created. This is because there are now more positively charged protons than negatively charged electrons in this molecule. Science calls such molecules cations. Some of these displaced free electrons moving in the air attach themselves to other regular molecules, making them negatively charged ions. Science calls them anions. The electrical charge in the air comes from such ions that either have extra positively charged protons or negatively charged electrons. These positively and negatively charged ions come in different sizes, ranging from small to large. Scientific research has shown that having more negatively charged ions in the air appears to be more beneficial to life forms on planet Earth. For example, have you noticed that the freshness in the air is fantastic after a thunderstorm? Have you experienced a sense of peacefulness and relaxation in the mountains or near the ocean? I have too. All of these environments have a higher proportion of negatively charged ions in the air. So it is these negatively charged ions that are contributing to the positive effects in those environments. Sometimes there is a surplus of positively charged ions in the environment around us. When this happens, it appears to affect human life significantly, some more than others. If you're feeling unusually depressed, experiencing anxiety, feeling irritable, or suffering any dis-ease with your environment, then there might be a surplus of positively charged ions in the air around you. In nature, any such ionization imbalances with either positively charged or negatively charged ions are a temporary and transient phenomenon. In addition to natural processes on Earth that contribute to such ion imbalances, it has been observed by scientists that even distant planetary positions can contribute to ionospheric and magnetic disturbances in our atmosphere. So you can clearly see that ion activity in the air around us is a constant, natural, and cosmic phenomenon. And as with all things Mother Nature, any such imbalances in the air with either positively charged or negatively charged ions are remedied as nature continuously strives for equilibrium. So any temporary ionization imbalances in the air will balance out over a period of time. However, significant ionization imbalances can also result from man-made activity. For example, have you experienced that the peacefulness of being in nature is missing in the concrete jungles of modern cities? Yes, I have too. Such man-made places have a higher proportion of positively charged ions in the air. And when such an ion imbalance happens due to man-made activity, there is unfortunately no quick, easy, and natural return to equilibrium because this man-made activity continues periodically or continuously and never allows for Mother Nature to bring the air back to complete equilibrium. For example, let's say that you have an air conditioner blowing either hot or cool air every 10 minutes. This could seriously upset the ionization balance in the air with a surplus of positively charged ions. And while Mother Nature tries to bring equilibrium, the AC keeps kicking in periodically and pumping more positively charged ions, making this quite difficult. So, human beings can make the air very sick with our modern technologies and not even know it. This electrical sickness is not like the pollution that we can perceive with our senses. The air around us can feel perfectly pure to our senses, but simultaneously be terribly sick from an electrical charge or ionization point of view. So, the goal of this explanation was to share with you the concept of ionization and that negatively charged ions promote all life forms and well-being on this planet. Now, the beauty of Sanatana Dharma is that when an oil lamp is lit, it can release ions into the air. This is because the high temperatures generated even in a small flame is sufficient to break apart molecules in the air, creating free ions. And you'd be surprised to note that the oil lamp releases a very high number of the good negatively charged ions to the environment. This is why there is a sense of peace and relaxation when you're around the lamp. In some temples in Kerala, for example, they strictly use only oil lamps. Any form of electrical appliances for lighting is prohibited in the Sanctum Sanctorum. And if you've been to one of these temples, you can really feel the presence of God there. And this ionization towards the good negatively charged particles is so significant with the oil lamp that each flame feels like an ion factory. I know that some of you will wonder if this is pseudoscience. No need for that. I've got some good news for you. I'm going to share scientific evidence right here and right now. This here is an ionometer, which can be used to measure the number of positively charged and negatively charged ions in the air. We will use this to see if my claim here about the oil lamps and beneficial ionization stands up to scrutiny. Typically, in the scientific process, there is a hierarchy of evidence. First, it starts with an expert opinion making a hypothesis with supporting background information. If you are generous, you could equate that with the claim I'm making here. Then this is followed by a number of verifying steps. 1. Case report. 2. Case control study. 3. Cohort study. 4. Randomized control trial. 5. Meta-analysis. And 6. Systematic review. As you can see, the scientific process is very rigorous, and rightfully so. I am not going to go through all of that today. Instead, we will do a simple experiment to establish the initial evidence for my claim. I'm going to take a baseline reading before I light the lamp, and I'll show it to you. Then we'll take another reading after lighting the lamp, and then we'll see the difference. To have a reasonable amount of initial confidence in the validity of my claim, what we are looking for with the lamp reading is 1. Whether there is a significant spike in ionization activity after lighting the lamp. And 2, if this ionization is markedly skewed towards the creation of the good and life-promoting negatively charged ions. So let's say that the initial ionization reading is about 20 negatively charged ions per cubic centimeter of air. And after I light the lamp, if this value jumps to 1000 negatively charged ions per cubic centimeters of air, then this is strong initial evidence that supports my claim. And then the rest of the steps in the hierarchy of evidence that I mentioned can be carried out to confirm the scientific validity of my claim. So let's begin the experiment and find out the secret behind lighting the oil lamp. Alright, I have the ionometer up and running now. We'll take a baseline reading. It looks like there are less than 5,000 positively charged ions and negatively charged ions in the air around me. So you can take a look at that baseline reading. And now I'm going to take the reading over the ionization of the flame, and we'll see what that comes out to. So this cycle of reading will probably take 15 to 20 seconds as it draws the air around the flame and measures the ions in that air. So you can see jump to minus 32. You can see that. I'm going to measure some more. Minus 204. Compare that to the 3 in the positive. Minus 932. So you can see we started off with less than 5 and it's jumped up to the 900 or 1000 scale. So that's the amount of positive, negatively charged ions that are being created. So as you can see, we saw a very significant increase in the ionization of the air and the creation of the beneficial negatively charged ions as a result of lighting a simple flame using an oil lamp. If this simple flame can do this, imagine what the fire of a oven or a homum can do for you. So this will be the focus of my next video, where I'll unveil all the scientific secrets behind our Havan Sampradaya. This will focus not just on ionization, but all other aspects of the Havan as well. I hope this was of value to you. Thank you for your time today. I hope your life brims with auspiciousness. For those interested in a personal astrological reading, you'll find the details on my website, vijayjyotish.com. I have added a link in the description below for your convenience. Thanks again and have an auspicious day. Bye bye.